And everybody, welcome to the Arkansas Diamond Report with Dudley Dawson. I'm Jason Pattison. Man, Dudley, that's some new music there on the intro. That was kind of slick.
Yeah, that was jazzy.
That one kind of took me by surprise because I haven't heard that one before, and I thought, man, did I do something right? So, man, how's it going?
Good, looking. I've enjoyed watching spring training baseball and softball yesterday. Get some baseball in today, as it is, another impactful and lots of baseball games going, including one at 7 o'clock, in which we'll see Gabe Gackle step on the mound and get the opportunity to certainly he's not going to duplicate what Hagen Smith did, but because that doesn't happen very often. But he's got an opportunity to go down there and kind of establish himself as the ace of the Arkansas staff, and we'll see how it plays itself out. And they're playing a team that obviously ended their year last year. It's a totally different team for both teams, really. Kansas State, I think, has 11 freshmen, something like that. But a situation that they love to go down there and play, and I'd say I'm about 80 to 85% now back from my sickness. I wish I was going to be down there, but we're thinking long term instead of short term.
Yep, I completely agree with you on that. And same here. I know that last week, whenever we were on, it was a little rough for me as well. Definitely got the voice back, but again, in the same boat with you on that one. It's more about the long term than the short term because, I mean, at the end of this day, I mean, we're looking at the end of May at least with this team, and also with softball. We're going to go over that too here in just a few moments, but. I think that the most intriguing story of the weekend is that get back, as the young kids say, with Arkansas facing Kansas State because they did knock them out of their own regional, second time in 2 years. And then you got TCU, which did that the year before here in Fayetteville as well. So the first two games Arkansas plays in Globe Life, they have the opportunity to maybe not have so much of a get back, but set the tone for the rest of the season, saying, you know what, it may be a different team that we're facing, but the team that we have is ready to really put their foot on somebody's neck and finish strong. I know Otis talked about that too last night.
Yeah, certainly the 10 guys or so that are back and the coaches, remember what happened. And certainly it's 2 years in a row that they haven't finished the way they wanted to. And it's very important these games where you're playing high caliber opponents, even though, Kansas State comes in and one and four.
Mm-hmm.
The other two teams are 4-0. You come into a situation where these could, help you. You could make a decision down the line. Do you get to host again, or you have to go on the road? Obviously, when they went on the road, was it 3 years ago now? I guess in 2022, it really kind of galvanized them together. They went to Oklahoma State, won, went to North Carolina and won. Real good year on the Hogville beat, at least
Yeah.
for baseball. I don't know, the College World Series, but it's an exciting time. I'm sure that there will be plenty of people who will watch on Flow Sports, plenty of people who will complain about Flow Sports, but
Yep.
it sounds like the 2026 Globe Life Stadium versus Globe Life Field games will be on a different network by then. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not FanDuel
Ooh.
Sports. Yeah.
I noticed that there's been some moving and shaking as far as which platforms are going to be carrying softball, college baseball, Major League Baseball. Saw that ESPN also is going to be parting ways with MLB after the 25 season or 26 season, I think. That they will not be carrying Sunday Night Baseball anymore either.
Yeah, and I think the ESPN kind of set its way on football, and certainly has more programming dealing with football and basketball really than they do baseball, and MLB's decided to pull the plug on that, although that's mutually, they say always say mutually, but it's ESPN's, will have their inventory, but now we'll find baseball other places, and I've really enjoyed, the ESPN announcers and all that, but I watch so much baseball on MLB Network and the league pass and all that I know that if I want to watch a ball game, I can find it somewhere.
Oh yeah, Oh, yeah. Well, I wanna go over this really quick too, because I was looking at the, stats from last weekend. Arkansas's got 6 players that are batting over 300. I know it's only 4 games, but there's been times where Arkansas has had the first 4 games set in cold weather, the bats weren't hot, and kinda were scratching their head thinking, "Maybe this can kinda right the ship once it starts to get warmer," but you've got, again, 6 guys over 300. That's a great start so far this season.
Yeah, and some of the guys are obviously newcomers. Brett Iredale's doing a obviously fantastic job at driving in runs and getting hits and being the guy that you would expect to be the
Mhm,
batter in his position. I think that they had two games where they struggled a little offensively, two where they did much better, obviously. One of them at the end there, clearly, Washington State ran out of pitching. I mean, it's not
mhm,
often that you see them walk the bases loaded, hit a batter, and then walk somebody else. They were just out of pitching, and their poor coach, who I think he thinks he'll have a pretty good team, and they're in the Mountain West now.
mhm,
They're not in the Pac-12. Obviously, there is no longer one of those.
mhm.
But it's a situation where that was a good 4 games to get the pitching in, to get everybody some at bats before you head to Arlington, and now these 3 teams are excuse me, these 3 teams are going to be on a higher level, have a higher caliber of athletes, and will be at least 3 of these teams, and probably Kansas State as well. But at least 3 of these teams will be in the NCAA tournament, I'm sure, and all have the opportunity to host Michigan 4-0 after going to Puerto Rico last weekend for the first Puerto Rico Classic.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats, and Kendall Diggs, Nolan Souza are combined 2 for 14 at the plate. I think that this might be a weekend where they can kind of turn that around a little bit. You got the indoor facility that they're gonna be playing. They will be playing at Globe Life, and with it more temperature controlled, I think that you're going to see the ball fly a little more than you did last weekend. I know that might be a little hard to believe, but whenever you get the warmer temperatures, it seems like the ball gets a little more livelier.
Yeah, there'll be 72 in there, and in a situation where you're going to get a true swing, I think. I always get a kick out of the analytics where they say the true swing rate, the what he really was hitting, not his average, but what it really should be hitting and all that. I mean, you hit what you hit. It's a base hit or it's not. Your batting average is what you are. But Nolan Souza obviously was hitting the cover off the ball during the fall and during the late January, early February scrimmages that they had. I suspect he'll get going. I was Kendall Diggs had a situation there where he could have won a game the other day, and I was thinking, I guess it was the first game
Mhm.
opportunity. What a great story, and I already had started to write in my head, for him, but he was unable to get it done. But he's a guy that I think there are a lot of people rooting for, not necessarily to be successful and root for the home team and all that. But he's just a good kid, good young man. As I've said before, he's one of these guys that stays after so long, signs autographs for the kids. You wish him well both here and in his future endeavors, which I'm sure is going to include professional baseball.
I think it's also going to help too that he's got a couple of uh, teammates on that lineup that he can kind of get nestled around as far as a couple of guys before him that can get on base and be a little bit more productive, and then also have maybe a bigger bat behind him too. Because I feel like if he gets into that spot where he can kind of fit in and instead of be maybe the guy, I think that that's where he kind of flourishes whenever he has those times where it's really had a lot more pop in his bat.
Yeah, I do think that lineup certainly, if you get a couple more guys hitting, will be leaping to a point that everybody will be happy about. Juan Soto Dappelin leading off is fun to watch. Chuck, as they call him, I guess, has you can see the activity he has in the box. He took 2 bases on a wild throw the other day. He's somebody that is your prototypical leadoff guy. Although you've got another one down there as well that has the opportunity to go in Justin Thomas Jr. You can flip those. He clearly wants to have one batting leadoff and the other down at the bottom to for that second leadoff situation. And you've got some guys that are impactful during, in the lineup. It's just a matter of putting them where they're at. I mean, Helfrich didn't have a great weekend either, but he had a good one. And obviously, uh, the he had a couple of guys still on him, but he also showed off that arm, the cannon that he has. And hey, how about Zane Becker?
Yeah,
Good quality back up there. And then they're even talking about Cam Cozil doing a little catching as well, left-handed at bat
really.
catcher. Yeah, Dave was talking about how he could play first base, second base, third base, anywhere in the outfield, and he's also talked to me about catching. So, and obviously, second base is would be his main position, and either Nolan will hit or Cam will take that spot. So they've got a lot of good options.
They do, and the transfer from Vanderbilt, that's kind of nice to have in your back pocket too. When I was looking at just the lineup itself over the weekend, one of the ones that I did not see do too well, but I was high hopes, and I still think he might be able to get some playing time this weekend. Was hold on just a second, Michael Anderson.
Mhm. Yeah, he certainly has a big bat. When he hits the ball, it really flies off his bat, jumps off the boat. He hit the bat. He has that exit velocity thing that is they talk about so much. He is a bigger first baseman, as Brent Iredale says. I know when I throw it over there, that I don't have to throw it perfect every time because yeah,
Mhm.
he's a big kid. But you got a battle over there. I mean, obviously Rico Pepe played there some this weekend. Anderson, you have Reese Robinette came in late defensively because he's probably the best defensive first baseman over there and the guy that has played it the most. And also, you could have Kendall Diggs over there, and as we just mentioned, Cam Cozil is somebody that. So they've got a lot of options. Kahua Eloy is going. He hits home runs like that. He's going to play somewhere.
Yeah.
DH, outfield, you know, first base, someplace. That's really the only place right now that I think you see a situation that the spot is up for grabs, even though they have a lot of options at different spots.
One of the things that I did notice in game 4 on Monday that I feel like the defense has improved on quite a bit. I felt like Washington State was trying any way they could to get guys on base. Last year, we saw that against Kansas State a couple of times where it was the small ball that was really eating up that defense. And I mean, that's where you saw the huge breakdown with um, uh, oh, last year, I cannot believe it. I just forgot his name off the top of my head. Anyway, um, um, last year we saw the huge defensive breakdown where you saw Kansas State getting runners on base consistently. Those two games that they played against Arkansas, I feel like their defense has really kind of improved in that small ball format, and they were able to. I mean, they had a little bit of trouble, but not as much as they did last year with guys laying down bunts and also getting infield hits.
Yeah, I think because Van Horn was pleased with the infield defense and what he got from catching. He's little. He had some points he made to the outfield. Somebody's got to take the ball here. Somebody's got to take the ball there. You gotta make the call in the outfield. You got to be definitive in it being your ball. There were a couple of ones that got down that
Mhm.
they will. I'm sure they took some time this week to talk about that. I don't know how much outdoor activity they were able to get here. Certainly,
Yeah.
probably none, but got a chance to practice yesterday at 2 to 2:30, I think, or two to three down there. Also gave the opportunity for a lot of fans to come and get autographs and pictures and stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. All those teams got to practice, and so they'll all be ready to go tonight. I'm interested to see what kind of fan output there is. They've played before over 20,000 there before, like 17,000 last year. How many will make the trip? And, you've also got so many people in the Metroplex that are Arkansas alumni and fans that, I'm sure plenty of them will make it, uh, to see Arkansas as well, because it's a wonderful opportunity for them down there.
It is. Was forgetting Hagen Smith. That was that one inning that he had. It seemed like he just ate him up. So tonight, 7 o'clock, Flow Sports College. I feel like they are kind of taking over the college scene a little bit as far as preseason goes, or well, in regular season, but before conference season starts. Also, you got the ladies. I'm going to tell you what, softball is really heating up. They were in California for the Marionetta Classic this weekend. They had two more 10-0 5 inning run rule wins. That's, I do believe that they've run ruled last, see, four,
last 7 in a
seven,
row.
seven, yeah, 7 in a row now. And
Doing it up and down the lineup too. Obviously, Brie Ellis gets a lot of the attention because of the unreal numbers that she's put up, but they have. In fact, she just retweeted here, so she's such a social animal. Uh, but she's on fire, obviously. But it's been up and down the lineup. They've played really good defense, great base running. I think not just Reagan Johnson, who we see speeding around all the time.
mhm,
The Obviously the last addition to the roster, Courtney Day, has been phenomenal. 5 home runs already. It kind of goes unnoticed when your teammates getting National Player of the Year awards, but I mean week
yeah,
awards. Excuse me, I knew that's coming. Well, there's nothing I can
bless you.
do about it. It's just been up and down that lineup, and obviously the pitching's been really good. Robin Heron came within a leadoff triple in the last inning of having 2 no-hitters in a row. Has obviously done a fantastic job, and all the young ones. Peyton Burnham's now 4-0. Uh, that's a good start. Kim Harrison has been there for the saves, and Reese Reese Berline. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of activity. I obviously play Cal State Fullerton again tonight at 8. I think that you're going to have a situation, where they're probably going to win those 2 games, and then you're going to have their last game tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Will be against number
Big
4
one.
UCLA. That'll be one that will vault them up in the polls if they go ahead and win it. They're already gone 13-10, and I think they're going to be able to do a little bit more jumping up in the polls, especially if they beat UCLA. I'm going to disappear for just a second, but keep talking.
You got it. You got it. I'll take it over for a minute. All right. So I think it's going to be very fun to watch this weekend. I'm really looking forward to that UCLA matchup, like Dudley said. If they were able to get a win against UCLA, that is going to boot them up in the polls. So one of the other things too, I think that it does go unnoticed is that at this Marionetta Classic, it's kind of like the tournament that that Arkansas has played in the last couple of years down in Tallahassee, where there's a lot of teams, or not, maybe it was just in Florida, but there's a lot of teams, really good teams that you don't get a chance to play, but there's a lot of great games still at that tournament, and I think that's one of the things that I think you could be maybe put out there a little bit more for softball, because again, these, when you have these preseason tournaments or these early season tournaments, it really is a lot of fun watching. And that whenever you go out there and you're able to get these run rule wins like Arkansas has so far, that helps with the confidence going into SEC play, because Arkansas did have a little bit of trouble last year in the SEC. I know that it was kind of more of a growth for them last year, but I think you're going to see the payoff this year.
Yeah, and I think you look at this situation. I know I'm ready for them to be home. Obviously, next weekend they'll have 5 at home after playing, I guess, 15 on the road. And I know everybody hopes there's will be good weather because you have baseball and softball both playing next weekend. I'm sure spring football's about to start up too.
Yeah.
His basketball finishes up as well, and obviously we got uh, uh, gymnastics going on as well. It's a busy time for everybody, but I think that obviously this team has the opportunity to really be, as I said, going into the year, both the baseball and softball ones, the opportunity to be better this year than they were last year. Record wise, could be, but I'm talking about at the end of the season because they have more options. When you have Landon Beetlejuice and he's not even starting this weekend because you only have 3 games, and he did pitch on Monday, so that kind of helped him make the decision on which 3 to go. You can piggyback him into the situation if you need him this weekend, and I suspect they will, or he can pitch Tuesday against Grambling, and which they'll be right back here at it on Tuesday 3 o'clock. So it's gonna they're getting a lot of games in early, and you're gonna know a lot about them early.
Yeah, because I'm it's supposed to be pretty good weather if I'm not mistaken. I think it's supposed to be in the 60s on Tuesday.
Yeah, and that would be glorious.
Especially with
from,
negative
from
5
what from
last
what
night,
we've had
night
here.
before. Good lord.
I've got puppies that are going out in the snow and disappearing right now. There's been so much, especially the new one, Tatum. He's learned from his older brother and sister. I'm not so sure I want to do that out there. Can I just do it here in the house? But we're working on that.
Yeah, man. It's really funny because Max, he wants to go outside. He wants to chase the birds because I put some bird feed up here on the porch for them. And it's like a free run. He likes to go out there and just chase them off and see how many he can get to fly off at the same time. But yeah, he's been jumping. We have some pretty good sized snow drifts in our backyard too, and every once in a while you'll see just like a little bit of his head and the tail, and that's pretty much all you can see of him. But he's still got his head down in the snow, trying to sniff out something and trying to figure it out. But oh, sorry, hold on.
We know that our new Frenchie Tatum loves the snow, loves to eat it, and I can't wait for him to participate in snow ice cream. That's a little bit different than what he's having right now.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I want to look at how Christian Fouch performed this last weekend. I want to say that there's a possibility that Dave might have found a closer, but I still think that I think he might be a week or two away of finding that guy that he can use on SEC weekends. Because again, you got a lot of arms. Just I think he needs to find that one that can be consistent out of the pen at the end of the game.
Yeah, Fauci obviously is going to be one of those guys. Carson Wiggins showed that he had the ability to do that last weekend as well, and Coach Van Horn mentioned those two would definitely be at the back of the bullpen. We talked about Beetleshees or Wood, whoever's not in the rotation, also having the ability to do that. They're going to be able to cover a lot of innings because they have a lot of arms, both left-handed
Mhm.
and right-handed. Those are the two guys that we mentioned, have the opportunity, I think, to establish themselves as closers. And I think you're going to have a situation where you're probably going to have one guy pitch twice on the weekend, another one pitch once. And then if you have a need a fourth guy, you can. Obviously, with Will McIntyre and Parker Cole and some other guys, you can mix and match. Hunter Dietz is not going to be ready for this weekend again, but he's getting close. He'll be a guy that be thrown in that mix as well. And Aiden Jimenez, who pitched a little bit last weekend, they'll bring him along with his pitch counts and all that as he's coming back from the injury that kept him out all last year. There's just a ton of people that have the opportunity to impact this team on the mound this year. I think far more. Dylan Carter, is another guy. Far more. I think they pitched 13 guys last weekend, and
Mhm.
they combined I think to strike out 38 and walk, five or something like that. So it was, very impressive.
Do you think Dave is going to have? And I'm kind of crystal balling this, and I'm asking you to kind of tap into Dave's head for a second here. But do you think that either of these three starting pitchers are either going to be on a pitch count, or are they going to be on more of an inning count coming into this weekend?
Gonna be the how much the pitches are stressed. They all went between 70 and 80 during this first weekend. He said they would tick upward a little bit this weekend. You can get to 80, over 80. Just depends a lot on the stress and how innings are and how they go. We all know that some innings are harder than others. If you get six immaculate innings, then you would be able to continue to go, but they're going to be in that 80 to 85 to 90 range is what it sounds like this weekend. And he wants them to get there because if you get three guys getting in that range this weekend, you're going to be successful.
The other thing that I also have thought about too, and it's been mentioned, with the broadcast with Troy Eklund and Brett Dolan, with the change in having Nate Thompson in the dugout. I want to say over the first weekend itself, I think that it's been an improvement. I think that with Nate being in the dugout, it's going to help a little bit more. And go and unmute yourself really quick, Dudley. And I think that it's going to be, I think, easier, not for instance with Dave, but I think with the hitters, it's so that they're able to constantly communicate with him before they get into the batter's box.
Yeah, I don't think you had any bad situations last weekend. I think Gabe Frazier, ran into an out one time when he was a pinch runner as they swapped out catchers. But for the most part, I thought that went really well this weekend. Again, I've never understood why coaches are out there, or at least your main hitting coach and your pitching coach,
Mhm.
because that's the availability to talk to kids on the bench. And now that you don't have I guess the ability to, or at least once you get into SEC play, you want to have the ability to use the headset and all that. I think it's important that you have them there. They're trying different things because they want to do better at the end of the year. I mean, that's just it.
Mhm.
40 wins last year, 40 wins. I think the last 7 seasons of which there have, complete seasons. It's very consistent, but we all know there's one carrot there at the end of the deal that hasn't been taken yet, and that's what they're trying to get to. This club has the talent, has the ability to do it. Will they have the stamina? Will they put themselves in the right situations?
I think so. I would like to say yes at this point. I think that they've met expectations as far as what fans have had going into this season. Because let's face it, this between basketball, football, and women's basketball, Arkansas fans need a W to really hang their hat on. I think that baseball and softball both have really kind of, I wouldn't say overachieved, but they've achieved everything that they needed to so far, and it's kind of bringing up the morale on the fan base. I noticed that also going in last weekend. There were a lot of fans that were super energetic. They were ready to get into the ballpark. It was cold, but they didn't give a damn, and they were ready to go. And I think that that's what's going to be really nice. And also with softball finally heading back next weekend, it's going to give more fans a chance to really kind of get out there and be vocal.
Yeah, and the softball has games at 3 and 5 30 next Friday against Illinois and Iowa. Two obviously nice programs. Then they'll continue to play the same time, and I think on Saturday, and then a couple on Sunday, or at least one on Sunday as well. So it's an opportunity to see them play. We'll see if they come back 15-0 or what.
Mhm.
But I mean, you just can't say enough about what Coach Deifel and her staff have done in recruiting this group. You've got some veterans that are playing well, maybe even overlooked a little bit. And then your transfer portal and your freshmen have just added to this mix. And then baseball, the same way. Nobody's lost yet.
Nope. Nope. Well, Dudley, man, let's get you out of here. Got softball tonight, got baseball tonight. Again, Flow Sports College. You can watch both of those games and all the games this weekend on that platform. Again, baseball is tonight. Is it 7, and then softball at 8, correct?
Yeah, baseball at 7, tomorrow night at 6, and then Sunday morning at 11 a.m.
All right, Dudley, I'll get you out of here. Y'all take care and go Hogs.